Dear students, today we are going to discuss about some type of tissue, which is in the unit 5 body structure and life processes of grade 9 science and technology. In previous class, we had discussed about some other types of tissue. What do you mean by tissue? Can you recall? Yes, tissue means group of cells which perform a specific function in a body, that is called tissue. Already we have discussed about various types of tissue, that is plant tissue, animal tissue. Under animal tissue also we have already discussed about the epithelial tissue, nervous tissue, and also today we are going to discuss about the remaining two types of animal tissue. Those are muscular tissue and connective tissue. Can you see here? All of you, please just observe these two pictures. One person is, so that means his hand is fractured, and another person, if you say he is very lean and thin, in his body we can't see any muscles. So there is a question, both people shown in the picture need support to use their hands. Why? Yes, here they need some support to move their hand. Why so? Just think for some time. Okay, why so? Here he can't move his muscles. Yes, as his hand is fractured, he can't move these muscles. Because of that, he needs support. Similarly, in his body, there is no muscles. Okay, and he is not able to move his hands properly. So, how does muscle help us to do something? We will discuss in this class. What is muscular tissue? Do you have seen your body structure? What are there? Yes, just below the skin there is a muscular part. Okay, similarly, when you bring mutton, chicken, etc., what you observe? There are different parts of body we can see. Some part is made up of muscles, some part is made up of bone, there is some skin, and even muscles which we bring in from the market, or while cutting some goat or hen in the home also we can find out different types of muscles. So actually, what is muscle and what is muscular tissue? Muscles means it is made up of muscular tissue. So what is muscular tissue? Just in this picture you can see there are different types of muscles. You can see the muscles which are present in our arm. There are bicep and tricep muscles are present. Yes, and this, if we observe the structure of this muscle to the heart muscles. Have you seen heart of goat or hen? While cutting goat and hen, have you seen the muscle? That means heart. What type of muscle is present in the heart? Is it similar to the bicep or tricep muscles? And also intestine and stomach part, that means digestive system part. How it is different? Are these three part muscles are similar? No. So what are those? What type of these muscles and what is the structure, function we discussed today? Just what are actually tissue mean? already you know that group of cells form the tissue. Then what is muscular tissue? There are some group of cells. The smallest unit of muscular tissue or single cell of muscular tissue is called muscle fiber. That group of muscle fiber combinedly form the muscular tissue. Then what is that muscular tissue? What does it do? See, just because of this muscle, I can bend my hand. I can extend my hand. Similarly, I can fold my hand. And while eating, what happens? Our digestive canals sometimes expand, sometimes contracts. Similarly, while pumping blood, heart also contracts and relax. Due to rhythmic contraction and relaxation, heart pumps the blood. So, we can say that those animal tissue which shows movement in the body by their contraction and relaxation, those are called muscular tissue. Here, that means already I have told you that the single cell of muscular tissue is called muscle fiber. Similar, just like in nervous tissue, we said that the single cell of nervous tissue is neuron. Similarly, in this muscular tissue, single cell is called muscle fiber. See here, this is the muscle, okay? And in this, there are group of small muscle fibers which is called fascicle, and the single fiber of this muscular tissue, single cell, is called muscle fiber. It is very thin, elongated cell. Based on the type of muscular tissue, its shape and structure may be different. Then what is function of muscular tissue? In overall, what are the functions of muscular tissue? The main function of muscular tissue is movement. Just like, see, I am moving here and there. How I am moving? Due to the muscles. That means due to contraction and relaxation of muscles, we are able to move from one place to another place. Even the internal movement of the body parts also because of this muscular tissue only. Next one is maintenance of the posture. I am standing now. Okay, while standing, my posture is balanced straight. If I sit, my posture will be different. When I sleep, my posture will be different. And similarly, if I run, my posture will be different. Just like here, see, muscular, because of this contraction and relaxation of these muscles, he is able to running and he is stretching his body. Here also, it is maintaining the posture because of these muscles. And here also same thing. In our body, there are various joints. Just like if in a skeletal system, bones are connected with each other. But if there is no muscles, we don't see the joint is working properly. So, it helps to stabilize the joint. Similarly, when there is contraction and relaxation in the muscular tissue, there is heat is produced in the body. And so, it also act as a heat generating tissues. Next, for example, when you move your hands or fingers like this, after some time your hand will become hot. Why? When you contract and relax your muscles, there is some heat energy is produced. Now, what are the types of muscular tissue? There are mainly 3 types of muscular tissue. Those are skeletal muscles, which are directly connected to the skeletal system, which are directly attached to the bones. Those muscular tissues are called skeletal muscles. And those muscular tissues which are present in the internal organ of our body, those are called smooth muscles. And those muscles which are exclusively present in the wall of heart, those are called cardiac muscles. Okay, we discuss in a detail what are skeletal muscle, how the structure of these skeletal muscles. This already I have told you this. See, in the skeletal muscle, these bicep and tricep muscles are directly attached to the bones. Such type of muscular tissues are called skeletal muscles. If we see the single muscle fiber of skeletal muscle, these are elongated, there is some stripes are seen. See, somewhere dark, somewhere there is light, bands are seen. So because of these bands, it seems like a strips. There are different strips, or ribbon strips like structure are seen. And this, due to the presence of these strips, it is also called stripped muscle or striated muscles. And in this, these muscles are specially under the control of our will and wish. Whenever I want to expand my hands, I can. Whenever I like to fold it, I can fold it. But can you just contract and relax your intestine, heart, just like hands, legs and your body? No. So these are under control of our will and wish. So these muscles are called voluntary muscles. And these muscle fibers are, if we see the single cell, this is the single cell of muscular tissue. If you see this, this is elongated one, cylindrical shape. In the single cell, there are many nucleus. So it is called polynucleated or multinucleated cell. Here, it produces, main function of this skeletal muscular tissue is producing movement in the body. Next one is smooth muscle. Name itself indicates that this structure is very smooth. Just how these are, where these are present. These smooth muscles are present in the internal organ of our body like intestine, stomach, etc. And if we see the single structure of this, it is just spindle shape. It's a single muscle fiber of smooth muscle is, it is spindle shaped cell having single nucleus. There is only one nucleus and it is spindle shape. Elongated spindle shaped muscle fiber is present in the smooth muscle. Due to absence of these strips, just like in the skeletal muscle, there is no stripes are present in it. Due to absence of strips, it is also called unstriated muscle, or it is also called unstripped muscle also. And this muscle is not under the control of our will and wish. That means neither we can contract the intestine nor we expand the intestine whenever we like to do it. So because of that, these are also called involuntary muscles. These are also called involuntary muscles. Especially these are found in the stomach, intestine, urinary tract, blood vessels, etc. For example, if we urinate, our urinary bladder will be empty. Then at that time it will contract. But whenever urine is collected in the urinary bladder, it will expand. But that, can you control that? Can you contract at that time? No. So because of that, it is also called involuntary muscle. And next one is cardiac muscle or cardiac muscular tissue. Cardiac itself indicates that heart. Those muscular tissue which are exclusively present in the heart, that means wall of heart, those are called cardiac muscular tissue, or simply we call cardiac muscles. If we see the structure of this single cell of this cardiac muscular tissue, how we see it is branched one. It is just like a stripped muscle, but it is branched one. Just like this, there are different branches are present, and because of this, it is look like similar to the, there are stripes or also we can see. Because of that, structurally it looks like the striated muscles, but functionally it is different. Functionally it is similar to the smooth muscle. It cannot be controlled. We can't control its movement. Because of that, it is functionally similar to the smooth muscle, structurally similar to the striated muscle. And it shows rhythmic contraction and relaxation for whole lifetime. At that time, it pumps the blood as well as it causes heartbeat in our body. This is also not under the control of our will and wish. Can you control your heartbeat? Can you? No. Whenever we want, we can't control it. It is continuously working. These heart muscles are not under the control of our will and wish. Because of that, these are also called involuntary muscles. And just now we have seen the structure here. See, in a one cell there is single nucleus, and these are many, that means single cell have branches also. Next one is, if we see the comparison of these three types of cells or three types of muscle, we find, see, in skeletal muscle, here fibers are striated, tubular and multinucleated. These are voluntary. Already we have discussed what is voluntary, and usually attached to the skeleton. See, location is just covering the bones. And types of cell, these are multinucleated, stripped cells are present. And if we see the histology, that means tissue structure, if we see it looks like this. Have you seen mutton and chicken also? It is similar to that. See, and next one is smooth muscle. Here if we see the fiber, non-striated, spindle shaped and uninucleated, it is involuntary, usually covering wall of intestine, internal organ and intestine too. And next one is, see, it is present, location is in the internal organs. And if we see the structure, just now we have drawn that spindle shaped cells. And next one is cardiac muscles. These cardiac muscles have the what type of fibers? See, striated, branched and uninucleated. They are involuntary muscles. That means they are not under the control of our will and wish, and it covers only wall of the heart, exclusively present in the heart only. Next type of tissue is connective tissue. What does it represent? Connective means connecting one another, either cell or tissue or system or organ. Those tissue which are present in the animal cell, which connect either cell to cell, tissue to tissue, organ to organ or system to system, those are called connective tissue. There are various type of tissues, just like bones are also there, cartilage is also there, there is fat, that means fat tissues are also there. Those are connecting other cells, other tissue, other organs. So these are called connective tissue. And these connective tissues are, that means it holds the body. Whole body is organized because of this connective tissue. It maintains the, that means it establishes the interconnection between the cells and tissues. There is intercellular space. That means what is intercellular space? Just like here, see, in the single cell, we can see one cell, another cell, another cell, another cell, another cell, like this. And these, in between these cells, there is some gap. This gap is called intercellular space. The gap between the cells is called intercellular space, and this space is filled with some other material like matrix, fibers, like this. In case of connective tissue, there are loosely arranged cells, and in between the cells there are some matrices present. That is, matrix means it is semi-solid substance where there are some fibers are suspended. Next, types of connective tissue. What are the types of connective tissue? There are mainly connective tissues are classified into three types. What are those? Soft connective tissue, hard connective tissue and fluid connective tissue. Soft connective tissue means structurally it is soft in nature. Okay, and there are loosely arranged cells are present and some matrix fibers are present. Such type of tissue, that means connective tissues, are called soft connective tissue. Whereas hard connective tissue means, if we see the structure of it, It is very hard in structure. Due to deposition of calcium in between the intercellular space, it is very hard. Just like our bones, see, our bones are very hard in structure. And next one is fluid connective tissue, which is in the liquid form, which can flow all over the body. Such type of tissues are called fluid connective tissue. Okay, first soft connective tissue. This soft connective tissue, see here, there is so many fibers. These are thread-like structure which we call fibers. And there is some semi-solid substance is present and there are some cells are present. Such type of soft cells which are arranged loosely, those are called soft connective tissue, even in this also. And in this, these tissues are composed of fibroblast cell. Just like in the muscular tissue, we said muscle fibers. Here the cell of these tissues are called fibroblast cell. And there is some matrix and there are some fibers are also present. Already I have told you this connective tissue maintain the interconnection between the cells, tissue, organs and also some other system to system also. These soft connective tissues are especially found around the kidney, liver, glands, muscles, etc. It contains more matrix and fiber. Comparative to the other connective tissue, it contains more matrix and fibers. Again, these soft connective tissues are classified into various types. Mainly, these soft connective tissues are classified into two types, that is loose soft connective tissue and fibrous connective tissue. Here in loose soft connective tissue, there are cells are already loosely arranged. There is much more intercellular space. This space is very high and cells are present very far. There is more number of matrix, that means more amount of matrix and more number of fibers are present in this. Based on the cellular structure, these are again classified into areolar tissue and adipose tissue. What are areolar tissue and what are adipose tissue? Areolar tissue means those connective tissues which are just present between the skin and muscles, which connect skin with the muscles and which do not contain any fat substance. That is called areolar tissue. In this, there are more number of fibers are present. Okay, there are two types of fibers. Okay, there is some fibers are elastic fibers, some are very rigid fibers. That is collagen fibers and elastic fibers are present, and that helps to connect our skin or bind our skin with the muscles. And another one is adipose tissue. It is the modified form of areolar tissue. Have you seen that fat substance? Boso. In Nepali we called it as a boso. Wherever there is a intercellular space or where there is a gap in our, that means body cavity, those fat tissues are filled. Okay, so in this case what happens, see, all the cells are filled, that means intercellular spaces are filled with fat and it acts as a cushion for our different organs present in our body. That means it absorbs the shock, mechanical shock absorber we can say, and this also helps to maintain the body temperature also. That's why in winter season fat peoples feel less cold than the thin peoples. And next, here in the fibrous connective tissue we see ligament, that means these are classified into ligament and tendon. Just these are present, that means ligaments are binding the bones to bones, whereas tendon binds the muscle to bone. First, just now I have said what is adipose tissue. Yeah, adipose tissue is the fat containing tissue. It acts as a cushion in the body which protects our vital organs like liver, heart and other internal organs by protecting them from the mechanical shock. And it also prevents the different kinds of shock which can be attacking the internal organ. And next one is areolar tissue. These areolar tissues are that means these are also structure is similar, but there is fat is absent, and these are especially present between the muscles and skin. Just now we have observed these things. And next one is fibrous connective tissue. Here in this fibrous connective tissue, there are less matrix, more number of fibers are present, and this tissue is especially found in the bones, that means between the bones, binds the bones as well as muscle to the bones. This we have seen in the muscular tissue. There are different types of muscular tissue we have studied. Skeletal muscles. In the skeletal muscle, we said that skeletal muscle covers the bone. Yes, these are directly attached to the bones, we said. How they are attached means this fibrous connective tissue. There are some kind of fibrous connective tissue which directly bind the muscle to the bone. And those type of tissues are called tendon. Okay, and some binds bones, that means bones to the bone. Here see, here these muscles are binding with the bones with the help of tendon. Okay, these muscles are bind with these bones with the help of tendon, whereas this bone and bone are attached with the help of ligament. Sometime while walking, if your leg is bent, if you show to the doctor, sometimes what they say? Your ligament is teared. What does it mean? Ligament means, see, this ligament is present between the bones. It binds the bone together. So, this is very elastic in nature. Comparative to the tendon, ligaments are elastic in nature. There are more number of elastic fibers than the collagen fibers. And so, it helps in the, that means movement of the body also. That means when the bones moves with the help of muscle, it also help in the movement. These are the, that means very stretchable. Ligaments are stretchable, but these tendons are less stretchable. Next one is hard connective tissue. What are hard connective tissue? Whole body structure is made up of skeletal system. Our skeletal system is made up of two types of structure. What are those? Yes, bones and cartilages. These hard connective tissues are made up of bones and cartilages. What do you mean by cartilage? Where it is present? Yes, here, here, and between the bones, where it is present. Okay, in the nose, ear, and also between the bones or the end of the bones, these cartilages are also present. And bones are present whole over the body. Whole is our framework of our body is made up of bones. So, these hard connective tissues are present all over the body, you can say. And especially those cells which are present in these bones are called osteocyte. Okay, cells of this bone and cartilage are called osteocyte. And these bones are covered with very thin membrane. From outside it is covered with very thin membrane. These thin membranes are called periosteum. Okay, and these bones and cartilage always connect other system. That means whole body is connected with that. That's why these are called connective tissue. If we see the structure of bone, see here, this is bone, the whole bone, it is covered with a thin membrane. This membrane is called periosteum, and the cells are arranged in a particular manner, and the cell of these bones are called osteocyte. The intercellular space between these osteocytes or in the bone cells, there is many space are present. Those are filled with matrix. In that some calcium is deposited. Because of that, these are very hard in structure. That means calcium is in the form of calcium phosphate and calcium carbonate. This is accumulated in the intercellular spaces of the bones. Because of that, it is very hard in structure. And these all bones are present everywhere. Already I have told you, like legs, head, even in the arms, everywhere these bones are present. Next, cartilage. See, comparative to the bones, in the cartilage, it is soft in nature due to less deposition of the calcium, and loosely arranged cell. Here it is found in the middle part of the bones. Even in between the bones it is present, and nose, ear, throat, jaw, etc. This it is present, and the matrix, it is in the softer than the bones. That means it is less deposition of calcium. It is softer in nature. It reduces the friction in the moving parts of the body and prevents the injuries. Just like in between these two bones, one bone it is, yes, and another bone this side, there is a cartilage. Because of that, it reduces the friction between the bones during the movement. And this, that means in the infancy period, bones are very soft in nature, but slowly and slowly, due to deposition of calcium phosphate and calcium carbonate, bones get harder and harder, and it becomes very hard. And next type of connective tissue is fluid connective tissue. What is fluid connective tissue? This is in the liquid state, we can say. Exactly not in the liquid, but it can flow whole over the body through the special types of tubes which are called vessels, either blood vessels or lymph vessels. So these are, that means flowing whole over the body, connecting one system to another system. Till now we have seen that organ to organ or tissue to tissue, but this fluid connective tissue connects system to system. For example, our blood flows throughout the body. How does it connect one system to another system? For example, when we breathe, we take oxygen. That is stored in the lungs. Okay? And that oxygen is passed to the each and every cell of every system of our body through blood. Okay? Similarly, blood passes the nutrients which are formed in our, that means after digestion, some simple form of nutrients are formed inside our digestive system. Those are also passed to the each and every cell of every system. That is also connecting. And from the cell, there are different kinds of unnecessary substances like carbon dioxide, water, and other excretory substances are produced. Again, those are passed to the lungs, like carbon dioxide is passed to the lungs, and other unnecessary water, minerals or salt, everything which are passed to the kidney through the blood. So it is connecting different system of our body. So these fluid connective tissues are connecting the system between the system. That means it is connecting different system. Where blood cannot reach, there is a lymphatic system. In that lymphoid, that means lymph is flowing. That is also working in the same manner. So based on their nature, these fluid connective tissues are classified into two types. What are those? Those are blood and lymph. Already I have just clued you. And what is this blood and lymph are made up of? How these are? See, this is blood is flowing through the blood vessel, whereas lymph flows through the lymph vessel. In between the blood vessels where blood cannot reach, on those places the lymph flows through the lymph vessels, and it passes the nutrients or the excretory substance excreted from those parts to the excretory system. So what is blood? How it is? Have you seen blood any time? Any injuries happen in your body? Okay, blood is red in color, yeah, and it is red color fluid connective tissue which is made up of blood cells and plasma. There is 55% of plasma and 45% of blood cells are present. In blood cell, there are three types of blood cells. Those are RBC, WBC and platelets. And they have various function. We can study this about this blood in next chapter, that is circulatory system, but here we discuss only about the how blood works, what are the function of it, how it connects, like that's all. So blood transport various substances from one part of the body to the another part of the body, already we have discussed, and this blood also helps to maintain the body temperature. It also regulates our different activities. Also it protects from the different kinds of germs and diseases. So these are the some of the functions of blood. Next one is lymph. Blood is red in color due to presence of hemoglobin and RBC, but lymph is colorless fluid connective tissue. It is colorless fluid connective tissue which do not contain RBC. Due to lack of RBC, it is colorless. And it flows through the lymphatic system. That means the lymph is flowing through the lymphatic system where blood vessels or the blood is not reached in our body. It used to pass the nutrients and other substances. Here in the lymphatic system, there is plasma and lymphocytes, a kind of white blood cells. Okay, it contains plasma and lymphocytes. There is RBC is absent. Lymph flows through the lymph vessels only, where blood is not able to reach. It helps in the nutrition, protection and excretion of the tissue. Okay, these are the different kinds of connective tissue. We discussed about the muscular tissue and connective tissue, their functions. Now just check what we have learned today's class. In this class, we learned about the different things like types of muscular tissue, types of connective tissue, functions of muscular tissue, functions of connective tissue. Just practice some question. First question is, which tissue flows out of blood vessels and flows between the other tissues? See once again, which tissue flows out of blood vessels and flows between the other tissues? Which one? Blood, lymph, enzymes, hormones, which one? Can you say? Yes, it is lymph. Just now we have discussed. Yes, it is flowing out of the blood vessels. Next one is, which tissue causes heartbeat? Which one? Cardiac muscle, striated muscle, unstriated muscle, voluntary muscle, which one? Yes, cardiac muscle. Very good. Next question is, which tissue perform transportation, regulation and protection in human body? Which one? Yes, lymph, adipose, areolar, blood. Which one? Blood. Okay, dear students, today we have discussed about the various types of cells and tissues. That's all for today. Thank you.